So it's it's fuck around find out season, right, for these Arabs and these immigrants, right? All of the immigrants to America, they're getting a crash course in Nazism and Satanism and you know in the American dream, right? Y'all all these immigrants getting a crash course in the American dream. So it's fuck around and find out season finally has arrived, right? So the future has arrived for them. The future is going to arrive for the ones that's doing it to them too. It's going to arrive for the for the crackers, but the future has arrived for these immigrants, right? They thought, well, it's only the Negro, but the future has arrived, and now they found out that they're nothing special. You see, they always break their tools. So once they finish with you, they just get rid of you. But so you bootlick them, right? You bootlick these, you bootlick, these crackers, and you wind up getting stomped out anyway. So anyway, I'll come back to them. I'll come back to that. Stand by.
Middle East Eye reported this. Mahmoud Khalil, who is being held without any clear with evidence of criminal behavior or activity by the Trump administration, which wants to deport him because of his role as a leader of the student protests against Israel's genocide in Gaza at Columbia University, who is a green card holder, was not just vetted for his green card, which was approved, but was also vetted by the British Foreign Commonwealth and Development Organization, the British Foreign Office. Because Mahmoud Khalil was a British soft power asset before he came to the United States. And here he is listed as a facilitator of an event next to various British funded Syrians who were interested in fomenting regime change in Syria. Here are the partners. The Chevening is one of the most prestigious scholarships granted by the British government and the British Foreign Office to basically future leaders who will help, presumably, under this thanks to their training that they received under this scholarship, promote British soft power. It's known in the UK as a British soft power fellowship or scholarship. And in order to get the Chevening scholarship, or to work out of the UK's embassy in Beirut, where Mahmoud Khalil was a facilitator at the embassy and conducted interviews on behalf of the embassy of Syrian refugees, you have to go through a rigorous security vetting process. So the Brits already vetted him extensively. And this doesn't seem to factor. I don't think the Trump administration even knew this history when they decided to arrest him. Just as I don't think they knew he was on a green card. I think they thought he was on some kind of visa, like a visitor's visa. But this should be an issue which the British Foreign Office should address. Our, who probably was in the same room with the British ambassador in Lebanon, then he went to Columbia School of International Policy Affairs, where Hillary Clinton is an instructor. Victoria Nuland has been an instructor. A who's who of imperial warlords have taught at Columbia SIPA. Okay, well, if he was a terrorist, why didn't he do anything to them? Why didn't he threaten them? Presumably, he walked through the same hallways as them. Where is the British Foreign Office to comment on this? Well, I called them yesterday. I spoke to Dan at the media office of the UK FCO, and he told me to email them my questions, and my questions haven't been returned. I know Middle East Eyes also reached out to them, and they haven't made any official declaration. So the British Foreign Office basically throwing their guy under the bus. I'm not saying he's still a British asset or something. I'm saying he was being trained to be one. And this would seem to damage the image of the British Foreign Office.
So the guy worked for the guy that Trump arrested was an Arab coon that worked for the British government against his own people, right? This is a fact, right? So I don't want I don't want people to say, oh, kick people while they down. Fuck this coon, right? So this coon, he works for the British government. He's working, as an agent basically, right? Against for the British government and American government, for whitey, right? Against his own people, the Arabs. But I guess they think they white too. But I guess he found out the hard way that they don't consider him white, right? So he wants to be white adjacent, as they say, right? And so he decides to work against his own people for these, for these agencies, governments. He's getting scholarships. He in like Flynn, right? And then what happens? They threw his ass under the bus. He says one thing they don't like, and they threw his ass under the bus. You see? He fucked around and found out. He thought he was in like Flynn, but they showed him that just like these Mexicans running around here, right? And all these Hispanics, right? A lot of them fuck around and found out. They thought they was white adjacent, right? Now they getting, they ain't really even deporting none of them. It's mostly propaganda, but now they getting their feelings hurt. Some of them, getting kicked up out of here, right? It's more of a publicity stunt than anything else, right? And then so he don't want to support Israel, he decides, well, I'll work against my own people. I'm against, he goes against Arabs, tries to help destabilize the Syrian government, all kinds of stuff, right? I talk down on my own people, do propaganda. But then he says something about Israel, and they totally trash his ass and try to lock him up and get him thrown out the country, right? It gets worse. Like, fuck Israel. I would never support Israel. Right? That would be a black like me. I'm ADOS, right? Me supporting Israeli Jews and all of that would be like me supporting the KKK. You know what I'm saying? Like supporting Israel, apartheid state would be like me supporting the KKK. I would never do no shit like that. I don't give a fuck about Israel or nobody that support Israel. I'm like, fuck you too, right? If you support the KKK, and Israelis, they're just Israeli Jews, it's a bunch of KKK motherfuckers, right? And Nazis. If you support them and I support you, well, that's like me supporting the KKK and not. I would never do that. Like, I would never fuck with a Negro that say, I support Israel. I'd be like, you a loser. Get away from me. You know what I'm saying? I'll spit in your face. You know what I mean? I would just dish you to your face. You know what I mean? I'd be like, fuck you, you a loser, right to your face. Not behind your back. I'll tell you to your face, right? Fuck you, you a loser. Get out of here. You know what I mean? Or I'll just be like, fuck you, you a loser. I'll be like, you a loser. You're a loser. I tell you straight like that. And be like, you don't like it, do something. You know what I'm saying? Like some Negro be, I never would probably get in the conversation. But even if it was like a family member, I'd tell them like, you're a loser. Right to their face, I just disrespect them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a loser, you stupid. And I tell them why, you know what I mean? Not that they would probably change their mind, but you know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't matter. If it was somebody I didn't know, it'd be worse. I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? You a fucking clown. Right? I would never support the KKK. I would never support nobody that support the KKK. Like Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden, basically supported, the KKK. Was basically in the KKK. I would never vote for Joe Biden. I would never support Joe Biden. He was like, oh yeah, I don't do that no more. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. I wouldn't give a fuck if you don't do it no more. You did it. That was enough for me. Fuck you. I would never trust you. You know what I'm saying? I would never trust you. It's like white people. I would never totally trust no white person. I wouldn't give a fuck if they cut me a check or not. I still be giving them a side eye. Yeah, good morning. How are you? Yeah, whatever. I still be giving you a side eye. Fuck them. After what happened to my grandparents in this country, my grandmother's still alive. She's 93 years old. After what y'all they did to my grandparents and my great grandparents, even after they fought for this country, I would never give a fuck about them to that degree. That I'd be like, oh yeah, I totally trust these people. Are you fucking kidding me? It's fuck around and found out season for these immigrants, right? See, we ate ours. We've been here for 400 plus years. Y'all just got here from Saudi Arabia and Syria and Palestine and Mexico or wherever the fuck you came from, Africa. Now you're about to find out what America. This is the time now, right? Where you're about to find out what Americans are really about, right? Like this Arab dude, right? These Arab coons, they finding out. These coons is finding out the hard way, right? Let's continue.
He, is not a terrorist? No, they're not saying anything. And as we reported at the Gray Zone, there was another Chevening scholar who received this prestigious British soft power scholarship, who is a Palestinian from Gaza. This is a Kit Clarenberg report. Britain implicated in murder of Gaza doctor sponsored by its foreign office. The UK government refused to condemn Israel's targeted murderer of Dr. Maysara al-Rayes, a Palestinian alumnus of the British Foreign Office's prestigious Chevening Scholarship. Meanwhile, London has instructed media outlets to keep silent about its direct involvement in the Gaza slaughter. The UK was conducting scores and scores of spy flights over Gaza to help Israel with targeting. It issued a D notice to media organizations on reporting on its spy flights. It also has helped supply Israel. And Israel slaughtered not just Dr. Maysara al-Rayes, who was a Chevening scholar, but his whole family. When they went to dig his body out of the rubble, Israel initiated a drone strike on his family and killed his brothers. Here he is. The Chevening Awards. We are devastated to learn about the death of Chevening alumnus Dr. Maysara al-Rayes and members of his family. Deepest condolences to his surviving family. Our thoughts and the thoughts of the Chevening alumni are with you.
That's what's gonna happen to all these coons, right? So you sell out, you bootlick these people, and what happened? They killed him and his whole family, right? He was trying to get some crumbs out the table. That's the fate of all these coons in America and in Britain and all around the world. See, the Lord didn't destroy them. Their benefactors destroyed them, right? He said, man, I sold out. You see what I'm saying? I sold out. I'm bootlicking these people. I'm doing their dirty work. What happened to him? They killed him and his whole family. And then swept it under the rug. Killed him and his whole family. Right? Even though he was doing their dirty work. Basically, as he say, a soft power agent. Right? Doing propaganda or God knows what else for these people. Right? And what happened? They killed him and his whole family. Right? See, you can't make a deal with the devil. There is no making a deal with Satan. And these immigrants, they're going to find out the hard way, right? All these immigrants, these smiling, happy immigrants, they trying to make a deal with the devil. They think they white adjacent. I'm light, bright, almost white, with my hair slicked back, right? Yeah, that ain't gonna cut. And I'm shining shoes, right? Rubbing people, giving people, I'm stroking them off, right? Kissing ass, right? Doing their dirty work, and what happened? They wiped him and his whole family, right? Can't make a deal with the devil. You don't find out the hard way. They fuck around and found out the hard way, right? That's why I say I don't fuck with none of these clowns. I would never fuck with a clown. You know, he's like, oh, you don't support Israel? Fuck no. You see what they did to this coon? Wiped him and his whole family, right? He was basically an agent for the British government, right? Got caught out there in Gaza. They smoked him and his whole family. Matter of fact, the British helped the Israelis kill him and his family. So being a coon don't really pay off no more. It's coming to the coon train is coming to the end of the road where it's going to hit a brick wall. The coon train coming to an end. That's why I say you support Israel. Fuck Israel. I would never support no satanic Nazi KKK motherfuckers. For what? For them to turn around and stab me in the back when they've been stabbing me in the back for 400 years, right? They help enslave blacks in America. They run apartheid in Israel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? The fuck would I support them for? What the fuck do I get from them? Nothing. I don't get shit from them. I could care less. Fuck Israel. And then he said, oh, you support Israel. Fuck you too. I mean, are you crazy? Like, I wouldn't support you or them. That would be like me supporting the KKK or Nazis. The fuck would I do that? What was that? Or La Raza or some other anti-black group, right? Some other Nazi satanic group. Why would I support them? When I already know they'll kill your ass, right? When the time come, when they want to get rid of you, they'll just do you in. You and your whole family gotta go, and they'll laugh about it, like it's nothing, right? They treat these Arabs try to bootlick these people. They treat them like shit, kill them, lock them up, right? And these niggas still running around here cooning. The Candace Owens, the Arabs, fill in the blanks. And you see what happened to them, right? Can't make a deal with the devil, right? There's no deal that you make with Satan that he will honor in the end. You see? There's no deal that you make with Satan that he's going to honor. I don't understand why like Negroes in America don't understand that and try to, they need to, you need to be making deals a little harder. You know what I mean? Like the way you just run around, way people run around bootlicking, they'd rather be a tranny, bootlick. They'll do anything other than, tell the truth. It's fucking crazy, right? Stand by. Got a little bit more.
Nothing from James Cleverly, who posed in a photo with Dr. Maysara Al-Rayes. There he is right there. There's James Cleverly, former foreign secretary, said nothing. Just as the UK is saying nothing about Mahmoud Khalil, who is a literal political prisoner in the Trump administration, accused of terrorism without being accused of a crime. What a pathetic vassal of U.S. empire. But this should also be a lesson. If you're watching this and you're thinking of getting one of these prestigious scholarships or going to one of these campuses, Columbia University is doing nothing to defend Mahmoud Khalil. You're going to get chewed up and used, and then you're just going to get spit out. The empire doesn't care about you. They're not going to defend you. They're not going to protect you. You can be a good Arab, and they'll move you up the ladder and give you some token positions. You'll get to pose for photos with James Cleverly or Tony Blinken, maybe even Marco Rubio. But if you become a bad Arab and start protesting their genocide of your people, or if you just happen to be there, like Dr. Al Reyes and his family who were slaughtered, they'll kill you or they'll jail you. So this is such a sad story to me. It's such a sad story, the saga of Mahmoud Khalil. This is Laura Loomer. She has been on Trump's personal jet, was on his jet during his campaign. She was even put forward as a possible press secretary. She's one of the leading Trump influencers on Twitter X. Mahmoud Khalil's wife, who's 8 months pregnant, said, "My parents came here from Syria. They believed living in the US would bring a sense of safety and stability. But here I am, weeks before I'm due to give birth to our first child, and I feel more unsafe and unstable than I have in my entire life." Laura Loomer's response: "Then go back to Syria, bitch, and take your filthy jihadist spawn with you too. We don't want you, your husband, or your anchor baby living in our country. When will these Islamic immigrants learn they aren't entitled to our acceptance of their Sharia supremacy?" Phil.
God.
And this is the real case. I mean, looking past the dissembling of Marco Rubio, this is the real case. It's just, we don't want you here because we hate your people. And for all we know, his wife is a citizen. It's very likely she's just...
I'm gonna stop that right there. So, yeah. So, one of this Laura Loomer chick, she's a real some satanic Jewish devil, right? She talk about go back to Syria, bitch. You know, calling people, right? And all this shit. No, you go back to Europe. Why don't you go back to Europe? Where you from? How about that? How about you go back? They always telling somebody go back somewhere, right? Why don't you go back to Europe? Cracker, since you call people bitches, right? See, this is what they really think about you, right? See, this is what they really think about these Hispanics, these Arabs, these African immigrants, these people. Sometimes they tell you what they really think about you, right? She get on X. Fuck you. Go back to Saudi Arabia, bitch, or whatever, right? No, you go back to Europe. How about somebody need to tell you go the fuck back to Europe? And you are going back to Europe. I believe the Bible prophecy, right? When he said the Lord of hosts says, I shall separate them one from another, like a shepherd separate the goats and the sheep. And then I shall judge them. That's what's going to happen to Laura Loomer and her people. You're going to get sent back to Ireland and Germany and every place that you from. And it's going to be a harsh judgment. You're going to be drugged back there in chains, as the Bible prophecy said. And then you're going to be judged, and a lot of y'all are going to be wiped, right, by the Lord of hosts. That's the prophecy in the Bible. That's not me. I have no reason, based on y'all behavior, I have no reason not to believe the book of Joel. I have no reason not to believe the prophecies of Christ in Matthew, right? Or Daniel, or Isaiah, or Ezra, the holiest of the holy prophets. I have no reason not to believe them when I look at these satanic devils, right? Go back to Syria, bitch. Where you from? Laura Loomer. This bitch is probably, speaking of bitches, bitch, this bitch is probably from, I don't know, where Loomer, where the fuck she from? England somewhere, Germany? Who knows? No, you go back to where you from. This stolen land, this don't belong to you. All right, but you here telling people where they can go. The nerve of these people. You see? The arrogance and the nerve of these people. To tell people where to go. Right? So it's okay to come here as long as you shining their shoes, bootlicking them, and being a coon, right? But the minute somebody say something they don't like, oh, it's go back to Saudi Arabia or Syria, right? You a bitch. Right? I mean, these are people you dealing with. That's why I don't have no respect for a lot of these immigrants at all. The African immigrants and all these immigrants. I'm like, when I see an immigrant coming, I mean, just dealing with them, what I learned from that was, when I see them coming, to me, it's nothing but bad news. All I see is some bad news, a bad luck truck. When I see an immigrant coming, it ain't nothing but a bad luck truck coming down the street. It ain't nothing but a sellout, loser, stupid motherfucker, right? To me, that's all I see. I don't give a fuck about your degree. Like that dude who was in the pictures with the Arab sellout who wound up getting him and his whole family killed in Gaza. I guess he went back from Britain to Gaza and got caught up, and they killed him and his whole family, right? It didn't matter, and he was fully on the coon train. He just got caught out there in Gaza. You see, there's no hope for the coon. There's no end of bright. There's no bright light at the end of the tunnel for the coons. Not now. Maybe 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. This the end of the road. And at the end of the road, all the coons, all the bootlicks, all the sellouts, you're gonna get the same thing Satan gonna get. You're done. That's it. Right? It's just a matter of time. Because they're gonna get rid of you. When they finish with you, they get rid of you. You can't make deals with the devil. That's why I don't fuck with these people. I tell them they Israel, fuck Israel. You support Israel? Hell no. I don't support the KKK. I don't support Nazis and KKK motherfuckers or whatever you want to call them. Right? These anti-black groups. Why would I support a bunch of anti-black groups? And they say, well, there's a couple of them over there they nice, they different. Yeah, I don't believe you. You're all suspects to me. Right? Well, we ain't this, we ain't that. I hear you, suspect. Right? I'll believe it when I see it. Right? I'll believe it when the end comes. Until then, it's all an illusion. It's all, it's all talk and smoke and mirrors. So, but it's fucking around and find out season for these immigrants and all of these, these Arabs and different groups. Right? I really got too much more beat on that, too much more to say about that. I think it's self-explanatory, But they'll look at this and I guess people will look at this and be like, well, it's an isolated incident. It's just a blip on a coon train radar or whatever, right? A blip on the diversity utopia that's coming. That's what y'all think is going to happen? It's going to be a diversity like the Negro. You think this is you the optimistic Negro, like my mother and different groups, different people. You think where do you think this is going? Right? They fuck around and found out the hard way. The rest of these people are too. Where do you think this train is going? You think it's going into a diversity utopia? Where you got 100% of men in America and everywhere else, they can't get married, single, no girlfriends, no sex, no nothing. Living, a bunch of sellouts, bootlicks, trannies, homos, all the, whitey, all types of, groups, the diversity pain train, all living together in this toxic soup. Where do you think it's going? A reckoning is coming. That's where it's going. That's all I got.